you're gonna spend $5 to $15,000 for your launch, you end up not going anywhere.
Now it's almost impossible to get back up to page.
You're probably not gonna be able to rank.
Colin Raja is an entrepreneur who started his Amazon journey with just $100.
He owns a seven-figure brand utilizing a data-driven approach to launch successful products.
And shares his expertise so that brands can get an edge with online sales.
There is a formula behind this. When it comes to a relaunch process, the first thing to do is and run PPC ads for Amazon. Take those keywords and run TikTok, Google Ads, Instagram traffic directly to Amazon.
Would you say that competitors that are ranked 1, 2, 3, they're doing something correct?
They may not actually. Here's a funny thing. If you have more sales, then you will win the formula. Somebody who's already have a better sales, they always do much better actually until
we pour money, and we just see minimal results. It's because there's this big back-end problem.
Just fix the back-end and then it works out really well. You don't even run ads for certain keywords.
Do you need tools to help you do this?
Okay, that's a deep secret actually.
People will say, that's crazy, Colin.
It's amazing, right? Nobody will say.
So this is part 3 of our educational series of next level SEO and digital strategies on Amazon. In this part, we are going to dive into the results that you can expect when using some of these tactics that we discussed in part 2. And joining me again for part 3 is Colin Raja.
Awesome, man. Thanks for having me again. It's a part 3, very interesting. Yeah.
You know, we were talking about how misconceptions, changes in the Amazon algorithm, the back end, all create disastrous results in wasted money and wasted ad spend. And now we're at the part, let's say you've cleaned it up, you've implemented some of these things. What are some of the results that brands can expect when they've got some of these tactics and strategies in place?
Let's dive back a little bit on that. When you talk about each and every strategy, I am talking about the combination of all the things actually, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about doing the backend search term, finding appropriate value required for the keyword and where you're going to focus your keyword to be placed, and basically run the traffic based on that. And third, apply the keyword linking strategy when it comes to phase 2 launches. And third, it's basically grouping the keyword and properly assigning it phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, so that you can see what keywords are coming up and then how you can move that phase 1 to phase 2 or phase 3 to phase 1, phase 2. You can combination of that. So that's the whole picture of the combination of multiple things, right? That's what we're talking about in the previous part 1 and part 2. When you do the first discovery phase of it, when you find out that your product is not assigned very well, so the results are pretty well in terms of how this works is you may able to rank for multiple keywords at the same time. One of the luckiest thing on this is if you already have the sales in place and your basic SEO was not done properly, not a crazy amount of sales, is having a decent amount of sales. When your basic SEO is done properly, you may see your CPC cost reduce and also your ranking increase crazily actually from that point. We have seen ranking from a 259th position to 3rd position, 4th position.
Let's jump into that again. So if you go to brand analytics, you can kind of get some of this information, right?
Yes.
And when you're saying I'm in 259th position, am I going to brand analytics and search query reports, or am I going to a tool like Helium 10 or Jungle Scout to know that I'm at position 259?
I'm talking about the keyword ranking actually right now. So
okay.
What are you seeing in the brand analytics and then search query performance? What is a click share actually? So if you are in a top 3, you'll able to see it in the brand analytics. If you want to see a top 10, if you're not in top 3, and if you want to see that where is your click share is, go to the search query performance, put your ACE in there, and you'll able to find a bunch of keywords for that. Not a lot of people know about it. When you click on the keywords, you'll able to see how many click share, what competitor is getting it actually. You can see up to top 10, and also they will show you what is your click share for that particular keyword. Then you can say, okay, all right, I'm super below, so I'm gonna try to bring more click share for my campaign. Either run the PPC, run the social signal, see that
Mhm.
where you're coming up actually. So if you're coming up on top three, you skip and see what's your conversion looks like. If your conversion looks like not good, that means that you change the keyword or run the couple of giveaways, try something, see how your ranking is progressing at that point actually. So for us, when you talk about ClickShare itself, we were able to rank with the ClickShare itself. If you are in
Mm.
like a top 10, you will be in a top 10 in terms of ClickShare. You need to plan this out properly, like a digest in terms of, okay, these keywords, if I'm coming in the top 10, I may make like a 40 percentage of what the keyword can bring actually. So for example, when you talk about the headset, the 200 sales come from the headset. So I'm focusing on like a top 10, which is like a top two rows actually, which is like below 25% to 30% actually. That's the keyword sales share I can make, which means 35%, which is like close to what? Let's say like a
60 something
60 something sales
mhm,
actually, right? So I
mhm.
can able to make in a 7 days 60 something sales actually. So I budget my keyword in a PPC in a properly like that. I budget my social signal properly like that so that I don't waste money there.
Nice. And I think these terms are all relevant because we've been stuck for years in just ACOS, if you're talking about advertising,
Yeah.
ACOS and tacos, and planning and executing on this strategy requires just going beyond those terms because they're not sufficient for this
Exactly.
type of strategies.
That is good. And the best hack, what I can tell you guys right now, if you're like want to see the crazy results, let's say that your product was like doing decent, but you're not seeing any kind of better results. Like the best strategy is go to your PPC, see what keywords are highly converting actually, not ACOS. Focus on conversion. When you see the conversion aspect of it, see where you are in the brand analytics, where you are in the search query performance, then you can increase the budget on those keywords and focus on, okay, I'm getting a higher conversion, so I'm going to spend money there and see your keyword ranking not below 10 actually. So then you focus on those keywords to run a traffic to bring it up to 5. We are seeing a better results just focusing those keywords.
So what you're saying is I'm going to go into the Amazon campaigns that
Correct.
I'm running and I'm going to go check the ones that are converting better
not
as
not ACOS, like
not a cost.
conversion.
Okay. So the ones that converting better and translating into sales cuz I'm literally thinking about this in my brain as you're saying this. I'm going to go into the campaigns. Let's say if I got a campaign and I've got 10 keywords, there's usually one or two keywords that are generating most of the sales.
That is
The
right.
rest may be like one, 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 two, one, one, and there's one or two that are generating 10, one that may be generating 40. Am I
Okay.
just focusing on the one that's generating the most, or am I looking at the percentage?
My opinion, it's basically even if you're getting a one click and you're getting one sales across like a multiple months or multiple weeks actually, I think those keywords you need to be focused more on that one. You need to run a budget separately, max out the budget. Why? Because you're getting 100% conversion actually. So it doesn't
Hmm.
matter how many clicks you get, you're going to get conversion on that. That's the most ignored part I seen from people not focusing on the conversion, focusing on the a cost actually. Especially on the growth phase, you never focus on a cost. I focus on conversion actually. So take those keywords and rank it. Why? Because you can see that it's working really well. And you should be on the top for those keywords because Amazon has already shown you the conversion for it. People are already shown you like this is the best keyword I want to purchase whenever I put this keyword. Why are you ignoring those keywords actually, first of all?
And so the other thing, if I'm putting on my PPC hat, my advertising hat on, I'm looking at this and I'm see the data like you're saying. These are the ones that are converting, but
Not
you know,
ranked.
not ranked. And then maybe, like you say, the cost per click could come down, but we're spending I'm just throwing a random number, $5 a click. It's converting. You're saying that $5 a click could come down to maybe 4 or 3 as a way of it ranking better because I'm ranking better. The cost per click is coming down.
But at that point, when you rank better, you don't have to be on the top position actually on the PPC. You can be like a second position or you can be like a fifth position of the PPC. You can reduce the budget or you can
Mm.
play around with the day parting at that point. You don't have to be on the morning clicks. You can be in like a afternoon clicks or you can be in the evening clicks. So I use PPC not to make money. I use PPC for defense actually, not for offense. So defending my position, it's what the PPC is for. Some of the keywords you may drop sometimes. If you go check back, you might not able to get number of clicks required for your PPC. So for me, I rank the keyword on 10% or 8%. What I'm paying for Amazon is to defending my position on the keyword actually.
Really? So that somebody else doesn't pass you up?
Yeah, I'm substantially making organic sales, but the keyword PPC is like giving a higher advantage for me to be like making sure I am staying there. And also the other thing is the bringing the new keywords. That's why I use PPC. PPC is specifically for defending. But think about it. We're talking about different tactics and different products actually. If the product was like a bigger product, I could run just a PPC to make sales actually.
Right.
Right. If it's like $100, $200 product, I can just literally like focus on PPC, get better sales, whatever the highly converted keywords, take those keywords and get the better sales. But when it comes to a product like $29, $30 product, and I have a huge amount of keywords where I'm going to spend like each and every clicks, I'm going to spend like a $4, $3, and that's itself like a 30% of budget is gone for the PPC. Those products are like basically it's a better to be taken a highly converted keywords, position yourself on the top. So you reduce the budget for those keywords. You just keep it for defending your organic ranking position alone, actually, there.
Do I hear you saying there's really two strategies based on your price point? Because I think that's what I heard you just say. So if
Yeah.
I have a product that's $30 and under, I'm going to take a different tack than if my product is, like you said, $190 earlier or $200. So if the product is a higher cost, a higher cost product,
Yeah.
I'm gonna deploy a slightly different strategy than if it's a $30 and under
That is
product.
correct. At that point, I don't have to be focused on like my profit margin will be huge, actually, for sure. So far, I worked on a product which has like a huge profit margin. The clicks are like only $5.
What do you
Or
consider, by the way, what do you consider huge profit margin? Because this is different. And I think I'm hearing this come up more and more with
yeah,
aggregators having tanked and a couple of other folks just giving up on Amazon. When you're saying huge profit margin, is that 15%? Is that
no, but
20%?
I am talking about in terms of like keyword sales, actually, right? When I
Okay.
spend $5 and I can make a $120, $150 sales, actually, that's a win for me to acquire any kind of keywords, actually, like
So
that.
the ROAS. So
Yeah,
basically I'm spending five and I'm making 200. So the
yeah,
return on
that's a
investment.
ROAS, written on
Yep.
investment, what it is. And also, that's a conversion aspect of it as well. When I'm spending $10 and I'm making like a two sales, when I'm getting like a two clicks, I'm making one sales. It's a conversion aspect of it as well. So when it comes to a large product, I focus on two aspects of it. One was like, of course, the conversion is most important thing. But if I'm making more sales, I don't have to worry about conversion. If I'm bringing the sales for $100, $120 sales, actually, then at that point, I keep running the campaign until I max out of whatever it's required, actually. You understand
Are
what I'm saying?
there, yeah, I hear you. And are there certain campaigns that you find, in of it, you have exact, you have phrase, you have broad modifier. Are there any campaigns that you have found either worth in terms of value or that give you the best return on investment, or you just have to experiment?
I have done a crazy experiment in the PPC recently. I'm just focusing on the launch actually. There are a couple of times, like 1 or 2 years back, when sometimes the phrase and the broad gives like a better low CPC cost. Here's the test what we done. Okay, it may not work right now, it may work, but I'll give you the different perspective of what you can think actually, right?
Right.
So the phrase could bring exact results as well, right? So basically, let's say that kids headset, right? You could put in a kids headset for exact campaign rate, or you can put kids headset in a phrase and add all the negative keywords, and it became a exact phrase, a exact campaign actually.
Nice hack. I like that. So the phrase kids headset,
Yeah.
you got to then put in the negative, and because you're blocking out a bunch of words that are not relevant, it by default somehow becomes like an exact match.
Exact, actually. So we have seen that results actually. Like 2 years ago, we have not done a test, this test, or because we're not doing pretty big on the PPC side of it right now. So when we did that test like that before, just to avoid reducing the CPC cost, I get CPC cost like a $1.5 on the exact match. When it comes to a phrase, I get like a 1.1 and 1.2 on the broad side, I even lower actually. So
Yes.
we did the test like that, and I was like, huh, this is interesting. We try to test all the time these kind of things. That's an interesting part of my team actually. Basically they come up with the scenarios like, hey, why can't we do this, why can't we check this, why can't we, like, they come up with, they're curious about a lot of things, like how we can test, how we can bring up a new solution for this problem actually. So we put up a questions and people go on and test for a week and come up with the result. We have like a multiple test case like that. We wasted a budget for multiple wasted reason, but out of that we either able to find a new hack, or we were able to find out, okay, it is not going to work actually, it's going to hurt you. But in that case we also find a hack how people could do something bad to us by running this hack actually, how to avoid those things. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. And so I like two things you just said, two words that I love: curious and experimenting. And that's what's required, I think, when you want to win, you want the edge on Amazon. Having the tactics, the strategies, and planning from 3 or 4 years ago probably is not going to work today. And I think is one of the reasons why a lot of sellers are, if you listen to any of the forums, we're all jumping and crazy because, what's going on with fees and costs going up to sell on the platform. And I think by being able to launch more strategically, by being more smart about your ad spend, you're going to get better results and also improve your margins, which if you're going to find a way for me to improve my margins,
Yeah.
I'm all ears.
Exactly right. Yeah. But that's what the basic is all about, right? I know this one because, like, I spent 19 hours to learn Amazon business. And then when it comes to data, I dive into it and try to find out what's happening. So when you understand the basic of it, then understand like where this come from. I've been working in Amazon for 7 years. There are a lot of changes we found, a lot of hacks we found actually. So each and every hack, there is a white, black, and then gray, and every hacks they have actually completely. So you can able to relate, okay, this has come from here actually. For example, we ran a ppv signal before actually, as a social signal before, to rank for your certain auto suggest keyword actually, for your keywords. Right now you can run a ppv for your ppc, and then to get like a better ranking actually, better relevancy for your keywords. We can take a little bit here and there, and then because we know the basic aspect of it, understand how the algorithmic aspect is works, because we come across multiple changes so far out of the 7 years actually. So you understand what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, for sure. And Amazon's a creature of change. They love
Yeah.
experiment. Sometimes you go on your listing and you're like, what, how did they do that? What, like, all I noticed this just yesterday. The images were now lined up on the bottom instead of on the left margin, but
But
not
that
all of
depends on
them.
the category. Yeah, it depends on the category.
But we've never, none of our products ever had that. We've never seen that before. And getting into the being curious and experimenting, like, I know that this was on clothing and fashion, but now in our category, we're seeing that. And so is it an experiment? Is it permanent? We don't really know. We don't get the information that
Mm.
Amazon has if they're running an experiment or if it's permanent.
I will tell you one recent thing happening. Amazon automatically change your title, like back and all the things on their
Yes.
own. If you don't opt out of AI, opt out actually completely.
Uh-huh. So is that so right now, a lot of discussion. A lot of people are saying, don't do the AI. I heard someone like Kevin King the other day say, opt out of it because you don't know what they're going to put in your title and it'll change
That is
because your listing was created using their AI assist.
that is correct. You need to be opt out of it, otherwise it automatically change. There is a lot of people going through this issue right now. It's the most important thing what everybody knows about it, because it's hurting everybody at this point. You need to stay on top of these things. Why? Because since we handling like a multiple brands, so we are able to have an opportunity to check like why this is happening right away. Why the heck is, like, when you ask questions like that, when you dig down, I was like, oh my god, this is implemented right now. It's
Mm.
been implemented right now, and then this has been happening. It's happening across different category. So we're working with like almost 7 8 categories right now. So okay, this is not happening in this category, this is not happening in this category, this is happening in this category specifically. So we let the people know that, okay, hey, this category is specifically going in the changes right now, so watch out. And there are like a new number of browse notes are created in a multiple categories right now. It's like wide across different categories. They are creating a multiple browse notes and try to assign a new browse notes for yourself automatically.
And that's probably why you hear this phrase a lot, like All of a sudden, one day I went in and I'm in kitchen, and then we're
Yeah.
not really in kitchen. We're supposed to be in instruments or whatever. And so that's so fascinating that the new browse nodes, new ways of where Amazon wants to show your product essentially,
Mhm.
and they may not be relevant. And you go back to where we started, which is we need the right approach. We need to clean up the back end. We need to make sure that things line up. Otherwise,
Exactly.
things
It
kind
will
of fall apart, right? Like this.
completely.
So, Colin, you've shared so much on this 3-part series. And if you want to see more, I'm sure Colin has a way for you to get in touch with him. Colin, you want to share how people can get in touch with you?
Yeah, you can find out Colin Raja in the Facebook. I'm also running a webinar to do the more detail in what we're talking about right now. I'm
And
not
in
sure.
Facebook, you share a ton already that you give
Yeah,
away for free.
yeah, it's completely for free, of course. It's not even like a cost anything. The reason why I started doing this is basically I was in a crazy depression 2 years ago. The only way I was came out of the depression is like by helping one of my friend. I was like feel free, feel alive. So I feel it should be part of me that I need to keep sharing. Until 2 years ago, I don't even share anything. I just keep all the secrets for myself. And
Well,
it's
I'm glad you started sharing, because you've certainly opened my eyes, and I know that a lot of people listening to this are going to find this super valuable. And I would encourage you, if you've watched this series and you haven't seen part 1 or part 2, where we talk about why, we talk about the tactics, go and check out what Colin is saying in those, because those episodes are just as important as this 3rd part in our series. So, Colin, it's been a pleasure having you on the show, having you share your valuable knowledge. I want to thank you for
thank you. I
coming
appreciate it,
and
man. Thanks
sharing,
for
and
having me.
an open invitation again to share anytime you want, anything that you think is going to help the community in terms of their
100%.
efforts on Amazon.
You already know, Ashley. We can reach out to me and we can able to hit each other back again anytime.
Colin, thank you very much. And thank you for joining us in this 3-part educational series on how to improve your digital marketing strategies on Amazon and using a very next level approach to taking your sales to the moon. So thank you very much. I'll see you next time.